We are preparing to go live. I will start recording here shortly. And we are live. So let me record on this computer. Hi, Danny, good to see you. Welcome everybody to week 3 of our Education 50/20 course. Carol is leading the charge today. I'll be letting people in and out of the room. Not out, just in. If you want to leave, feel free. Because this is being streamed to YouTube and I'm recording it. So if you need to go, cool. Brandon will watch the chat and let's have a good discussion, a good week.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Clint. So if I keep looking to the side, it's because I have a second screen that I'm referring to. So sorry about that if I have that weird look to the side.
Just give us the side eye.
Yeah, I'm trying not to, really. Okay, so welcome to week 3. Let me just share my screen really quick so that you can see it. And hopefully you can see it. Yes, thumbs up. All right, awesome. Okay, so welcome to week 3. I'm just going to start with this quote. Challenges are what make life interesting. Overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. And I really liked this because I've been thinking about this past year and oh my goodness, the challenges. So it's been kind of crazy. And even just like I've had some personal things that happen too. So, but honestly, it's the overcoming them that has made it more meaningful. So hopefully that's helpful to you. If nothing else, is something to think about. So, and just as a reminder, remember our online etiquette to mute your mic. Unless you want to communicate with us, then unmute and speak if you need to, interrupt if you need to, that's not a problem. We would love to see your faces if you are in a place where you can have your video on. We love that, but we also understand that sometimes you might, like I know someone was driving in their car earlier, so they may not need to have their video on if they're driving, but be safe. Okay. Did we have any questions or concerns from our first 2 weeks of class? I wanted to kind of start there and just see if you have any. Go ahead and either unmute your mic or you can put it into the chat. Was there anything that happened or anything you had questions about for week 1 or week 2 of the course?
In my section, the discussions and the papers have been looking real good. So keep it up. I still am getting some folks putting the descriptor in on their papers. You don't need to do that. Just if you want to say, you know, element 1, 2, or 3, just to set that off, that's fine, but you don't need the descriptor in there.
Yeah, you don't need the descriptor of the questions or anything like that as part of your paper. Just go ahead and talk about it in paragraph form. So I think most might have been doing also really well at that. So good job. All right, well, I'm not hearing anybody or seeing anything, so I will move on. So for week 3, you are going to be reading chapter 2, Developing a Connected Learning Model. For the discussion, we just want to make sure you post your original post by Sunday, so that gives everybody time to do the replies. And your paper this week will be on the use of space and time. So in preparation for reading chapter 2, this is something that came from chapter 2. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and I'm hoping that you will all indulge me in participating in a mentee to answer these couple of questions. If you think about traditional professional learning or professional development and what that looks like, and then think about what a traditional teacher network looks like. And this is when I want you to join the mentees. So I have up on the screen right now, if you go to www.mentee.com, and then the code is 87974481. Or if you are like on your phone or something, you can scan that QR code. It should take you right to that.
Can you throw that link into the chat?
Yes.
I'm going to answer on my phone.
Okay, hopefully that went and everybody can go there. And I hope it goes to the right spot. I just thought of that I think I got the right thing there. And I think I have to start presenting. So let me switch to that screen really quick. Oh, no, I think I am presenting. So you
Questions are up, yeah.
Yeah, you can answer if you want to. So go for it. Oh, now I got to get back to my right tab. Okay, there we go. Okay, so mentee.com and it's code 87974481. And there's two questions. The first question is, what does a traditional teacher professional development look like? And then are you able to go to the next question, or do you have to wait till I go to the next question?
A little pop-up came up and said to let us go to the next slide. So
okay, awesome.
I think you're good.
So yeah, so go ahead and put your answers in. What do you think? Send those in. I'll give you a few minutes to kind of think about that traditional professional development and the traditional teacher network. What do those look like? Okay, we're getting some good answers. I'm going to bring this back so we can kind of see some of these results live here. So I think we have some, some positive ones and some negative ones, and it's kind of this mixed bag typically for professional development. And hopefully we are starting to get better and better at doing professional development. Sometimes there's some really, really awesome ones that go really well. And sometimes there's ones that you're like, oh my goodness, could I please have that hour of my life back? Because that was a waste of time sometimes. So, but hopefully people are getting better at figuring out how traditional professional learning can be so that it's better and not just one and done type of things, that there's some follow-up or that there's things that can help it be better. And then in thinking of your network, I mean, I really like some of these, like where it's very informal in some cases, just being able to talk to each other, like in the faculty room or things like that. And then sometimes it can almost be forced, right? Like you have to talk with your team or we're gonna get in this group. And so again, it's kind of a mixed bag where there's positives and negatives, but hopefully we can get better at this so that it really is a support for us and something that works really well for us. So awesome. Okay, you guys had great answers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is open. This Mentee is open for the next week. So those of you that are not able to join us live, you're still welcome to go in and answer these questions in the Mentee, and then also click on the link to see the results. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you for participating in that. That'll get you kind of thinking for your as you read through the chapter, and it talks about this new model of professional development for the 21st century teacher. And this is what it says: transforms the teacher's traditional network by building community offline and online, leveraging emerging technologies and building personal learning networks and global communities of inquiry, meet the new model for professional development, connected learning communities. So what does that mean? And it's really taking this three-prong approach that you have a community of practice or inquiry. So you're trying out things, researching that, and then figuring out how to fix that and do better at that. And then professional learning communities, which also looks at your data and helps each other. You know, you help each other in your teacher teams to get better at your practice. And then personal learning networks, which in leveraging the technology, like using Twitter or Facebook groups or all kinds of different ways that you can get involved in some personal learning networks to really help, again, support you and help you in improving your practice. So we want you to grow your personal learning network by connecting with your instructors. So on this slide, you can see each of us showing here, and at the bottom of all of our information is all of our Twitter account handles. So if you are a Twitter user, and if you're not, you should get on Twitter, if nothing else for this class, and join in, because there's lots of really great things that happen on Twitter. And that's, for me, that's like my main personal learning network that I use for my work stuff is through Twitter. And I am kind of a sporadic user. However, it is where I get most of my really great ideas. Or if I just need something, I throw it out there to Twitter, and I invariably will get, within a minute or two, somebody answering me back with some really great resource. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I needed to do. And then just the people I follow. So if you're new to Twitter, or if you're not sure what to do with Twitter as your personal learning network, another instructor in a previous year of teaching this class put this together, and it's really, really awesome. And so each of these bullet points here are a link to something where you can learn about Twitter. So the 50 best education accounts on Twitter that you can follow, 20 inspiring educators to follow, the best 100 education hashtags. And the very best one, in my opinion, because it's really awesome, is the Utah Ed Chat. So I don't know if any of you have ever gotten on Utah Ed Chat, but the Twitter has this whole list of all these different education chats. But here's Utah Ed Chat. Here's the hashtag. It's every week on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. And it's really
this Wednesday night at 9 p.m. coming up, and then they're taking the summer off. So
so we got one more. So this next one is the last one, and then they take the summer off, but then they start up again in the fall.
Get it in.
And
so join this next one though.
The topic is year in review. So just go back and review upon the year that has been 2020, 2021.
Which I think will be really interesting. Yeah. It'll be a really good Ed Chat, actually. And the one last night, right, because yesterday was Wednesday, that one was on connecting with students. That was really good. I was not able to join in last night because I had some other things, but I looked at it later, and it was really cool, all the things that were in it. Actually, Brandon, you were participating, I think, in Ed Chat last night. No? Oh, no. Okay. I thought. Anyway.
I missed last night also.
Oh, okay. Anyway, it was a really good one. So hopefully you can join this next Wednesday and jump on it. Really is a really awesome thing to do. So, okay. So your discussion this week is on developing a connected learning model. And so here's your questions here. And it's basically change, right? So we need to make the classroom a place that is tailored to the way connected learners learn. So how do we do that? What do you believe in? What changes do you think will be the most helpful, that will provide time for deep conversation and reflection? Do you feel that same way, or do you not feel that same way? Kind of what is your opinion here? And if you do agree with this, how do you think we can accomplish getting at that deeper learning and reflection and really getting into it. So anyway,
or reflect on how your classroom has changed in the last year and a half to allow for, your connected learners to learn better.
Absolutely. And I think that is a really good thing to reflect back, especially on this year, because I feel like we've done a lot to get at those essential things, but also to make sure we stay connected. So that'll be really, really good. So just remember, do your enhanced response by Sunday. So either a post or one of those choices of the enhanced responses, so that we have enough time for people to post their 2 responses to each other by Wednesday. I think most of my people have been doing pretty good about getting that done by Sunday. And then here's just the idea behind the enhanced post. So there's lots of different ways that you can do a post. And I did notice that some of my people in my section chose to do some of these things this week. And that was really fun to kind of have a little bit of a change up. A couple of people were like, hey, I never knew this existed. It was something new I learned. So it was kind of cool. So try it out if you've got some time to learn something new. Most of these are fairly straightforward and pretty easy to pick up. If you want to try something new. Okay, and your paper this week, here are the 4 elements that you're going to be looking at and talking about in your paper. And just as a reminder, no more than 2 pages. If it's going to take you longer, try to shorten it if you can. We just really would like you to keep it to 2 pages, double spaced. The double spaced is because that makes it easier to read everything as we go through and read everybody's paper. And then if you are citing anything, make sure you do that in APA style is what we're looking for. I think so far I haven't had anybody have anything so glaring that I need to, talk to them about how they're doing their paper. I think everybody's doing a pretty good job. Is there anybody else who wants to add to this? Okay. All right. Any questions on what you're going to be doing for week 3 this week? Any questions in the chat? No? Okay.
These guys are all over it.
All right. They're on it. They're rocking it. That's awesome. Okay, so just every week we have a reading, a discussion, a paper, and a seminar at 4 o'clock on Thursdays. And as we get to week 10, 11, and 12, you're going to have these projects, and they are available for you to see what to do in the project. They're just not available to do the project and turn it in yet. Okay. So weeks 1 through 9, you're just looking at the future ready schools, all those different aspects, and doing your 2-page paper. On week 10, you're going to write a memo to the superintendent. There are some requirements where we're going to ask you to interview at least 4 of your peers. So you may want to look over that assignment now so that before everybody goes home for the summer, that you can at least contact your peers and have them, interview them, so that you've got that information for that week 10 assignment that you're going to be doing. And then week 11 is a tech training that you'll be putting together. I know there's a few people in my section that are actually doing a training for our conference that we have in June. That counts for your tech training. So if you're doing that, that counts.
So if you're saying, is it the tech conference? Well, I think it's a digital. I'm doing 2 assignments on that. One's on Canva, one on Adamoto. So that would count. Okay, great.
Yep. So just make sure you've got it in some shape or form that your instructor can see what you've done or that you're doing it, so that they can count that. Okay. So either that's a video or it's a copy of your presentation or something like that, so that they know all of that, but that does count. So good job. And thank you for those that are doing those. If you're not formally doing it, that's fine. Just get it ready for your week 11 assignment. And then week 12, you're taking a lesson plan and modifying it. We would love it if you would take a new lesson that you haven't already modified and turned in as an assignment for a previous class. So, come up with something that will be helpful to you in your future that you can modify it with technology integration. Okay, so a couple of conferences that I know of coming up are the Refresh Rediscover conference that Davis School District is putting on June 8th and 9th. And then the URSA, the Utah Rural Schools Conference, is July 7th through the 9th. And then I was not able to find any others. Does anybody know of any others coming up this summer?
ISTE.
ISTE.
It's
When
virtual.
Virtual at the end of
At
June.
the end of June, yeah.
Okay.
It's still a pretty good deal if you've not been, or yeah, I think they're what, like 175 or something like that for registration right now.
Super good price for ISTE.
Compared to an in-person ISTE, yeah.
Right, like the in-person ISTE is like not quite 400, but almost to $400. So the 175 is a good deal. It's an amazing conference. It's huge typically, and this year it's a virtual. So that's at the end of June. If you go to iste.org, you can find out the information for that conference at the end of June.
ISTE.
Yeah,
Is
Carol, I was also noticing that the CTE people from USBE are having a virtual conference in June. If we have any CTE people, they're probably already aware of it, but just thought I'd mention that.
So there's another one. If you're in CTE, that one would count for you as well, to fulfill that requirement. Okay, any questions or anything anybody needs to talk about?
Just pasting the link to the ISTE conference in the chat in case anyone's curious.
Okay, so that's all I have for today, and we appreciate you joining us today. And
We have to keep until 4:30, don't we?
I don't think so. I think if this is all we have, we're good.
No.
You can enjoy the rest of your night tonight, and we'll see you next Thursday at 4 o'clock. Who is it next week? Is it
Next week is
I'm up.
Brandon? Okay, so we'll get to hear from Brandon next week.
People said that again. Brandon does an excellent job. We're like,
I
Brandon?
don't care what I'm going to say.
Okay, thanks all.
Thank you, everybody.
Instructors,
Have a good
we need
week,
to
everybody.
cover anything? Danny, were your assignments closing? Yeah, okay. So there's still a little bit of weirdness between our master and I don't know. But if that's all the problems that are left, then that's not too bad. Okay.
Yeah. And I think you already saw this, but I haven't looked yet to see if any of the blueprint syncing has kicked in. But if it doesn't, I'll spend some time tomorrow unclosing all the rest of them.
Sounds good.
So I just synced yesterday the slideshow for today.
Mm-hmm.
I made a couple of tiny changes and synced it too.
So hopefully those came through for you guys.
Yeah, I guess we better check that too, huh?
Yeah, just
Well, if you have the slideshow on the week 3 overview,
Yeah,
it's still syncing.
just double checking. Let's see.
yeah.
Yeah, the slides are there.
You got it.
Okay.